Aloha and welcome to the Path of Me podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson, and I wanted to create a sacred space for soul-to-soul conversations with people sharing their light through their passion, power, and purpose. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me introduce my next amazing podcast guest. Hey everyone, welcome to the Path of Me. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson, and I have the most beautiful Ashana joining us today. She is a creative artist and musician. She is a master teacher of crystal singing bowls and a pioneer in sound and vibrational healing. Welcome, Ashana. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked about our conversation today.
Me too. Me too. You have a voice of an angel. You truly do. I've listened to some of your music, and it's just the purest frequency. I love it. I love it. I could sit with it and bathe in it all day. I was wondering if this was something you've had as integrated in your life since childhood, or something you developed as you know, grew up into your adult life. Like, what was the origin of it for you?
You know, it was an evolution. I wish I could say like a Julie Andrews, she grew up, opened her mouth, and everything, and the hills are
Right,
and
right.
everything just opened up from that point in time. Although she was definitely a big influence on me when I was for many, many, many years, and still is. She's such a beautiful goddess of sound and
Yes.
compassion and kindness. But anyway, I digress. No, I always wanted to sing when I was little. I Singing was just entrancing to me,
Mm.
and I didn't really get the opportunity to explore it until I was, back in elementary school and started moving into um, high school, actually.
Mm.
But up until that time, I was learning instruments and playing, learning music, playing instruments, doing those kinds of things. Um, and then in high school, I had my first opportunities to start to sing. And it was this very long evolution. I went to music conservatory at the Mannes College in New York City.
Wow.
And I had, you know, the evolution of a career in early music or medieval and Renaissance music. I also did a lot of musical theater and sang a lot of jazz and
Wow, you had
anything.
the full spectrum. It
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
was
you
like,
could touch everything. Just
I
dip
was,
your
and
toe in everything.
exactly, and I was finding myself, and I was writing music at the time. I still do, writing songs, composing, just exploring. Um, I'd have to say, actually, I spent about 11 years in early childhood music, which was
That's
actually
wonderful.
totally life-changing, really completely
Wow.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with kids and parents and their families with young children, and that was just like I have to say, it was a seminal part of my development because there was such there's incredible beauty in children there when they are in the environment of a very rich musical environment.
They're so
And
pure
oh
anyway.
my
So if
god.
you foster that and, give them creative expression, it's like it can't be anything but beautiful, right?
It is wonderful, in a big gestalt. I mean, you do have those experiences in classes that you wish you never had, you know? There's
Oh
definitely that.
gosh.
Oh my god. And then some of those songs would be like earworms in your ears for, like, hours and hours, and you just go, "Stop me." Like, "Can you please put a lid on
Oh my
it?"
goodness.
So
Oh my goodness. You're gonna make me cry. I wanna laugh.
oh my god, it
Oh.
was I had a lot of fun, and I learned so much. I
Mm.
not just about education, and I learned a lot about, education and how people learn, um, and I took a lot of that into, my later years of when working with
Yeah,
adults
I love
as
that.
well. But then there was this, this period when I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I got a phone call from a friend, and she said, actually, she was a mentor of mine at the time, and she said, "Have you ever heard of crystal singing bowls?" I said, "No." She said, "This is right up your alley." I
Mm.
said, "Great." So I ordered one sight unseen that day. Right?
Wow.
Literally 3 weeks later, it comes to my house, one of those big 14-inch classic frosted, the big white heavy bowls, and I put it on the kitchen table, and I tapped the side of the bowl, and I burst into tears. It was, like, instantaneously. My face just got really, really, like, it was emotional, and the first thought I had was that light had come to live in my house.
Wow, that is so powerful.
So,
It's like coming
that is
home.
exactly what
It's like
happened.
you came home to
I did.
your true,
I
calling
did.
here. How
I did.
powerful is that?
I know, it was really
Wow.
extraordinary because at the time, I was working with the kids,
Mhm,
and I was also singing a lot,
mhm, mhm,
I was conducting choirs and, doing all kinds of musical
mhm.
things because music's my passion, and, this thing, this unexpected gift arrived in my house, and the second thought I had after I tapped the side was that one day I'm gonna put these into music, and I knew it, it was as clear as a bell, and that took about approximately 2 years later. It's about 3 years later, it might have even been longer, and, by that point, in 3 weeks, I had 7, you know, after that, once that first
So
one
your
arrived,
collection started to grow.
that was 7. There's
I
125 of
can
them in this
see
room.
behind. I
There's,
know
like,
this is
they're
just
all
a
over the place.
small sampling of what you truly have, but
No, well,
wow,
no, actually, this is
is
really there
it?
are 125 bowls in
Oh
this
my
room.
gosh.
They go all the
Wha
to so and then there's some overflow in
Sacred,
the other room.
sacred and beautiful.
They are amazing, it was when I met my, producer, Thomas Barkey, some of your listeners might have probably heard his music. He produced pretty much everything that Sanatam Kaur has done, and so a sacred vocal chant
Mhm.
producer extraordinaire. And we met in this amazing synchronicity of amazingness. Uh, and because when I heard his music, it was so funny. I was in a yoga class, and I was listening, and they were playing Sananam Kaur's like Prem. I think the album was Prem, and I didn't know what that was, but I'm listening and I'm going, "That's the guy. That's the guy. Whoever that producer is, he's
He's
good.
the one.
He's the one." And
Yeah.
so I really seriously, I called up my yoga teacher, and that night, and I said, who was what was that album you were playing?" She goes, "Oh, it's not in a car." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I said, "Who's the producer?" I was like, "Oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
fine. Nice voice.
Let's
Alright,
get to
let's
the
go.
real
Let's get to
issue
the
of the
real
call.
point."
Oh
I
my
I'm
gosh.
like, "Who's the producer?" And she gets the cover out, she goes, "Thomas Barkley?" Right?
Oh my
I
goodness.
go, and so I said, "Fantastic." And literally, he was I got onto the internet, looked him
Mhm,
up,
mhm.
and he was coming to Santa Fe in 2 weeks, and that was the last time he was ever in Santa Fe on tour. Seriously, no joke.
The
Okay.
thing that strikes me the most, I mean, in my own personal life, clearly what occurred for you is how when we are aligned with our divine path and calling,
Exactly,
the universe just keeps orchestrating all these beautiful
exactly,
synchronistic connections, and
exactly.
if you think about what it takes to navigate these 2 bright stars in different orbits, having to time precisely a
Yeah,
location and divine meaning, what has to happen to orchestrate that, right?
I know.
Is incredible. Like, literally, you're in a yoga class 2 weeks
I know.
before. Like, how does that you can't even make that up.
You really
Beautiful.
can't. And Thomas and I, we were talking the other day on the phone. We've been working together for 20 years.
Wow. What
It's
an
like
incredible
yeah,
collaboration.
we just released a brand new single in November,
Mhm.
which is gorgeous, and we're getting ready to release another couple of songs, which we're working on right now. I've released our brand new albums, started releasing yesterday. It's called
Congratulations.
Thank you. We
What
dropped
is
the
it
first
called,
single on
and what's the platform that I'm sure it's everywhere, but
it's everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
give me
but
the name of
the album is called We Are Here to Love. We Are Here to Love.
Oh, I love that.
It is, and that's everything that it's about, and the first single, we're doing a waterfall release strategy, so it means
Okay.
we'll drop a single a month for the next 4 months, and
Beautiful.
then we'll drop the entire album.
Oh my
So,
gosh. What a
so you
what a
could hear the
gorgeous
first
offering.
it's gorgeous, yeah. Yeah, the first single is called Divinely Human, and I would love to talk about that because
Let's.
you
Let's talk about
you will love this. You will
Mhm.
love this, where its inspiration comes from. Um, it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. It's Thomas and I singing together, and Crystal singing bowls, and Bansuri flute. And it has this just beautiful hybridization of, kind of free form textured vocals with the introduction of a theme, and that theme creates like an anchor inside the piece, and then it goes back into free form. So, it's really, really beautiful, and when we were recording this, I I was in this state where I was remembering a dream that I had when I was a little girl.
I love it.
I know, it was I was about 10, must have been about 10, 11, and in this dream, I was standing in this field of, like, emerald green and
Wow.
and leaves and green field, and I was looking in the very close to me, but also in the distance were these beings all dressed in white, and they were, floating. They were about 3 to 4 feet off the ground, and they were all walking, and they weren't walking, it wasn't like a line or a thing. They were just like they were just all these beings that were just talking and walking and moving around, but they were all dressed in white, and they were all moving, and when you looked at where they were moving into this enormous light, and then I woke up, and I wrote this song, that I that morning or that day or whatever, I wrote this song with these beautiful little lyrics in them. Mind you, I was like 10 or 11, so, um, it was very, very sweet. I can remember all the lyrics to
Oh
this
my
day.
gosh, I
I
love it.
I could remember the melody. I
Oh
won't
my
sing it,
gosh.
but I have it written down in one of my special books, from when I was
Mm.
from that time, and I kept it, and so the song is called that Thomas and I record on the album is called "Divinely Human." And this song, this piece, I can't call them songs, they're wordless, but this particular piece of music is the energy of that. And one of the lines in that song that I wrote about the dream when I was a little girl was, um, "I see the light. I I can't remember. I hear the light. I am the light. I have the light. I am the
Mhm,
light.
mhm. That's what was coming to me. I am the light was coming
I
to
am
me
the
when you
light."
were saying that. Yes, for sure. And what
And
a
so
gift.
Yeah, so that dream, she was like, when I was dreaming that, it was a full gestalt of being light and being a light being.
Incredible.
And so this piece, this first piece on We Are Here to Love is this because the album itself, all 7 tracks, it takes you on like a hero's journey over the course of these 7 tracks. You and we didn't start out doing it that way. It was
It just
complete
evolved into this
I swear,
journey.
archetypal journey of 7 pieces. You can look at it in terms of chakras, you can look none of that we were thinking about. We were just, following the divine breadcrumbs, going with the
Right.
flow. And so this first piece, which is called, um, as I said, Divinely Human, it kind of sets this place and stage for this journey and basically says, this is who you are.
Mm.
Now, we're gonna find out more about that. And because where we're ending up in this beautiful album, as the downloads of the angelic beings gave to me, is we are here to love.
Yes.
You think you are here for all the this and the that. There's only what's my life purpose? Well, you got one. It's the same one for everybody.
Yeah. And we're here to love in our own individual expression of love, and that's it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I find that embodying and embracing that in my life as well means I'm challenging the social
Yeah.
norm.
Yeah.
And you have to have such a pure heart to do it because you're going to get some pushback and you have to really stand in the truth of who you are and why you're here to be the expression of it fully without bowing or compromising in any way your expression to fit a specific paradigm or expectation, or you have to really know yourself to fully love yourself and
Yeah.
express yourself in life from that place and live true to that alignment. It requires absolute alignment with a
Yeah.
full open heart to do it.
And at the same time, Wendy, I mean, don't you think it's like we're here to be on that journey of what does
Mhm.
that experience feel
Absolutely.
like of
Absolutely.
alignment?
Mhm.
What is that? And because we're eternal beings, that alignment is consistently growing bigger, 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 bigger,
Absolutely.
bigger,
It's
bigger, bigger.
infinite. It's
It's
infinite
infinite.
where we can go with it. And
Yeah.
it's infinite in who we become and what I've learned because as we grow and expand, obviously our consciousness is expanding. And so we realize how truly infinite and powerful we are on a soul level. And how do we bring that into the fullest expression through this human experience and this human vehicle that we're so privileged to carry through this lifetime? You know, that has been something that I a principle that I try to live true to, and I obviously you do as well to create this kind of music and artistry. Um, so I really honor your work.
Well, thank you, because I can certainly say that inside the music, the process of the music making and the vibrational energy field that's created inside that process, and then by the music itself as it comes through. It's like it's like it lives, almost like, here. And in Ashana, in her kinda, "Na, na, 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 na," I'm, like, sorta here, you know? And I really
Maybe
feel like
higher than that.
maybe higher than that,
I
depends on
feel
the
higher
day.
than that, but um, you
But
know, it is exactly what it needs to be when you are collaborating and
Mhm.
creating. And as humanity rises into its fullest potential, because humanity does have a ways to go to vibrationally
Absolutely.
rise, I think the offerings rise, and they can only accept what's in resonance with where they are, right? They can only resonate with music that touches something maybe a little higher than where they are vibrationally, or
Mhm.
where they are vibrationally. So the music will continue, and I'm sure it has evolved so much from when you began. If it's just going to continue to evolve into greater and greater offerings, I feel.
Oh, well, actually, I hope it does.
I feel
That's
it
my
for sure.
intention, but what I was really, implying there when I said the music's here, Ashana is here
Yeah.
is that in the creation of that music, it's and because of, everything that I've been involved with it,
Mhm.
performing and touring
Yeah.
and writing and teaching,
Right.
singing and that,
Right.
it's like, "Okay, Ashana," you know, "can you the personality, can you step up?" And so over the course of these 20 oh my gosh, 26 years of me playing crystal bowls or 27, whatever the heck the number is, you know, it's like there's been this constant progression
Mhm.
of the personality for Ashana, hanging out, going shopping, reading, teaching, navigating, being in a marriage, all those things, this it's like the music is this benchmark, it's going, here." And I've been like, "Huh?" And
But
I can
you're
come up.
integrating more and more, and through that
Yeah,
integration, you're rising always,
exactly.
right?
Exactly, and so there's been this process of learning and growing and
Mhm.
being and feeling and,
Mhm.
becoming. It's quite
All
it's
of
it's
it.
been
All
quite
of it is beautiful.
beautiful, you know, and hard, because
So
in
hard.
some ways because in some ways and only hard from the personality standpoint,
Mhm.
because the music has been such a masterful teacher.
Mhm.
Like, "This is okay, not that's not so good." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I do
can you
find the process of our own evolution and growth to be so humbling
Yeah,
and, beautiful at the same time, challenging at the same time,
yeah,
because we're constantly releasing old aspects of
yeah,
ourselves. We're constantly loving and lovingly releasing old
yeah,
aspects of
yeah,
ourselves and who we thought we were and what we thought we were and our power and purpose and light guide us
mhm,
into our highest potentials always. And those highest potentials we have to stretch for, like you're saying. We have
yeah,
to keep um, meeting the challenge
yes,
and
yeah,
the ask, the ask of us. We're being called higher by something beyond our human, right? We're being called higher to embody our soul fully here.
yeah, I think that in some ways that language is kind of the best we can do right now.
I mean, it's hard to put
It's
into
hard to put
words
into words.
because it's really an expression and an experience. And I find words to be more limiting as I
I know,
shift and grow. Language is very limiting. Let's all get to that place where we can telepathically connect
like
in a pure way and not need words. We can just connect
yeah,
heart to
yeah.
heart. You know, I'm excited for that moment. It will come, but it's gonna take
I
some
don't think
time.
it's that far off.
Mhm.
I don't think we'll see it in my lifetime, but that's okay. It'd be fantastic if we
I
do.
feel like we're laying the groundwork for human ascension through our work and our being here and anchoring our frequency here, even is changing the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what we do with our human expression is the added gift for our life, our human experience, and also to lift others.
Well, when one of my spiritual mentors, she and I were speaking. Well, we were having a conversation a couple of years ago, and she said, "We are the grandmothers and the great-grandmothers and the great-great-grandmothers of what is to come.
I love that.
And I was like, "Oh,
Which is
yeah,
why she's a wisdom keeper and mentor for you.
yeah."
That's
And I was like, "Okay." I said, I'm okay being a grandma."
I love that. I love that.
I don't have to see it in this lifetime. We were talking about the anchoring of the div and the awakening of the divine feminine at that time, in that conversation, and I was like, "Wow, if what I'm doing now is part of being a great grandmother to the divine feminine's full embodiment, in this reality, then I'm good with that. I'll be the good worker bee and do my part." So,
I love that. And I love that you found your calling. You know, a lot of people are just now, you've had this 20-year journey and even longer. You started when you were 10 with that dream, this
well,
divine,
before that
or
too,
yeah, some people have that beautiful gift of coming in and maintaining that connection throughout life, you know? So some people are just now, being called into their alignment and their calling, their soul purpose, to participate in this shift in their own way.
yeah,
And it's a challenge because you're talking about a lifetime of programming
yeah.
and trauma, soul trauma. They're going to have to work very hard to heal, to position themselves to do what they're here to do, you know?
Do you really I think that there is, kind of a 100th monkey thing happening now,
Yes, I've heard of
where
that. The
we don't
one
have to
monkey
work
does
so
it.
hard,
Yeah, the one monkey on one
you know?
side of the planet does it, and it just translates organically, and the 100 monkeys do it across the world, right?
But no, that actually it was a
Monkey?
that's almost right.
I was
It's
close, but no
very, very
cigar.
close. Well, you even get the cigar. So, the idea is right. So the way that it was with they were doing an experiment, and, apparently there was, on an island, if I've got this right, where there were a large monkey population, there was this one monkey, and they were eating sweet potatoes. And the monkey would, finally figured out to get all the grit and the dirt out of the mouth, he figured out to start washing the sweet potato. And so he starts washing the sweet potato, and eventually, another monkey joined him, and da 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 da. And there was a tipping point when it reached a certain number of monkeys washing their sweet potatoes, when monkeys all over began to wash their sweet
Mm,
potatoes. So, I think that or it could have been the monkeys on the neighboring island,
mhm,
were starting to do that. But that's why they came to this 100th monkey theory.
right.
And it's it's being looked at in terms of consciousness and the awakening of
Mhm,
humanity to a more full consciousness. Uh, that we need a certain number of people on the planet that are having this experience. And it's like you don't need 100%. You only need, like, for an example, hypothetically, 51%, right? So when 51% of a given population starts going, you know, there's way more than this, the it reaches a certain threshold, and in that
I
threshold,
would
things begin to
absolutely, that
tip.
resonates.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have not reached that threshold, but I'm hopeful that we
I
will.
think we're getting really close. I really do. I think we're getting close. I think that there are, I'm not saying it's gonna be tomorrow, and time being what it is, and, time is very in some ways
It's fluid.
it's
It's
very
not
fluid.
fixed.
Mhm. There's a lot of pushback happening
Mhm.
in consciousness from, beings and energies and who are holding certain vibrational frequencies and wanna keep things where they've been. But there's enough of beyond that, that are literally laying groundwork and holding space for
I
us
really
to step
want to
up.
take a moment to honor all the light workers who are doing just
Yeah,
that, the unsung heroes that are either consciously or unconsciously doing that.
yes,
And it's I wish that I could touch each one of them and directly hold their face and thank them, because so many don't. They only identify with human versions of achievement, and that what they're doing just by anchoring light on the planet is so powerful. Their frequency, their joy, their love, which may not look like success, I use air quotes, in human terms, but how they're impacting the collective, the
yeah,
human experience, the earth itself through their work and their presence.
exactly.
It's not quantifiable.
It isn't.
And I do, on a soul level, want just to honor each of them for choosing to come into this lifetime to participate in the shift, you know?
Yeah, yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of people out there doing really magnificent work
Yes.
and,
And they're the unsung heroes. Nobody
totally
even
unsung.
knows about them
Yeah,
or acknowledges them, but they know who they are and why they're here, and they're in their lane.
yep.
And, um, you know, you guys aren't alone. I just want to say to you, we see you.
You're not.
We're
You're
grateful for you, for
you're
everything that you're
absolutely not alone.
contributing, whatever that looks like.
There's a
So,
lot of that go there's a lot of that going on.
mm,
I see it more and more every day.
mhm, mhm.
So, we're if you have a niggling in your heart to do something, it doesn't have to be big. It's like, "Oh, I'll make some food and bring it to the neighbor. I'll look at that person in the grocery store and give them a smile and, let me reach out." Follow that like little
Yes,
hint of that gives you
of
joy.
kindness or an expression of love in some way, right?
Mhm.
Big or small, like, we have no idea whose lives we impact.
Don't.
Just when we're navigating through life, driving through the Starbucks and talking to that same Starbucks barista every day at the window, or, whatever it is. We're touching so many people
Yeah.
all the time, and we have opportunities every day
Mhm.
to be kind and lift someone a little bit.
We do. We do, we do. We can do it, and we do it in so many ways now. There
Yeah.
really the creative expression of kindness and loving kindness is infinite. You have an infinite number of ways on any given day to be an expression of loving kindness in the world. So, it doesn't cost you a dime.
Right. And
It's it's
think of the ripple effect if we all chose that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just for a moment or one encounter, if we all chose that. Some
exactly.
people don't have the capacity to, for whatever reason, because of their experience or their wounds or their history, trauma history. But I'd like to think that humanity is, like you're saying, going to reach that tipping point where the heart is more opened and they're accessing their cosmic heart and their higher mind, and that connection is leading and guiding them forward, transcending the human.
Well, I have faith.
Me too.
I have absolute faith that not only is it going to be a one day, someday thing, but that it is. It is coming in. This is coming in
Yeah.
now
And sooner than we think.
way sooner than
Way
we
sooner. Like, I feel maybe within the next 5 or 6 years, we're going to see tremendous
Mhm.
shifts, planetary shifts, and things aren't always what they seem.
Correct. Yeah.
And linear unfolding is no longer, we've collapsed linear time. So,
what's possible is so much greater. You're not waiting for this long, slow, linear
No, you're not anymore.
it's right
And
here, right now,
yeah.
and miracles truly happen, and so if we can get more people to just tap into the faith and the belief in that,
Mhm.
the knowing, it does ripple out, like you said, to the
It does.
collective, if we
We
can.
can jump those timelines. We
Absolutely.
we don't have to stay,
Exactly.
prisoners, as your word is,
Mm,
or slaves
yeah.
to a very slow, dense progression. We are this is the beauty of the divine feminine as
Mm,
creator. You know, that we literally can vision something completely different than what we've been living. And
yes.
when enough of us are doing that, it's like, "Oh, it's done." Because, magic, miracles, it's a frequency. And
Yes.
when you shift the frequency, well, I hate this lower, higher thing. It's very linear to me. So when you shift the frequency to like
An
and it goes
expansion. It's
an
an
expansion.
expansion. We're not talking about better or worse, higher or lower.
Exactly.
It's an expansion of consciousness.
Exactly.
And
Like
when
that
we
beautiful
tap
picture
in,
behind you.
yes,
Right there.
when we tap into it, we become manifestors,
Mhm.
not because we're special, but because we're holding a frequency that allows that.
Well, we already are manifestors. So what do you want to manifest?
Exactly. It's almost a remembrance. It's a remembrance, and people don't
Yeah.
understand that they are the creators of every experience in their lives. Where's that experience leading you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the hard part about what we're speaking of is it's difficult to see outside of your known experience
Absolutely.
because it's so comfortable, it's all you've known, therefore you think
Absolutely.
that's all there is. But I assure you that as a manifesting generator, which every human is, you can you can reach beyond what you think is possible for you and actually create it.
You can.
Mhm.
It takes the yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Wendy. Because when you're in that place where you can't see, you might be feeling really depressed, you might feel discouraged, you might feel, unworthy,
Yes.
undervalued, you're
Yes.
having impacts from, God knows all the intense, suffering
Mhm.
that has taken place in this reality. It is extraordinary.
Mhm.
And it can be it can feel I know, from firsthand experience, personally, what that feels like.
Mhm.
I've spent periods of time in my own life feeling very depressed, feeling very unworthy, feeling even when I've been doing my singing, right? So, it's because I was so, locked inside a perspective,
Yes.
a belief,
Yes.
a conditioned pattern, and they really are like they can feel like you're in a vice grip, and it seems impossible from that point of view that life could ever change or ever be different. And what I want to just encourage everybody that's listening is that just follow the thread of your joy.
Yes.
If you wanna know, like, "How do I get out of this?" And all of those crazy words inside of your head that's gonna say, "No, you can't. You don't have enough. You don't have enough money. Nobody likes you." All that kinda stuff that this
The chatter, the
the
mental
chatter
chatter.
makes. You gotta take a deep, deep, deep breath consistently. Learn to quiet your mind to the best of your ability. Correct. 3 things. Alright, here's Ashana's 3 things, okay?
Speak up so people really hear you when you share this. This is important.
This is important. It's
Yes.
begin the practice of learning to quiet your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be like a cacophony when you begin. So you can do that through sound and vibrational healing, and healing music is a beautiful way for some people to open up to that kind of space. Sitting in nature, just get off the phone, get off the computer, put yourself outside on a bench in a park in your backyard and just listen to the birds and give yourself space for 5-10 minutes on a daily basis just to let some of this go. You'll be really, really shocked, I think, that just beginning to put that into your life on a regular basis, what that starts to do for your nervous system, which is incredible.
Right.
And because one of the things we have to do is to disconnect the fight or flight. And sound is brilliant. Healing sounds brilliant at disconnecting fight or flight. So you start disconnecting fight or flight, you begin to relax. And then you begin to realize how much chronic stress and ongoing stress literally is driving your mind to think insane thoughts. Okay?
Right.
All right. So when you start peel that one away, now I'm starting to relax more. Then these little inklings of joy that just go, "Oh, I always wanted to learn how to crochet." And you go, "Yes." And so then
Right.
you're starting to crochet. And then somebody says, "Oh, can you make hats for the homeless? We're doing this thing." And you go, "Fantastic. I'd love to do that. Whoa, we're having a crochet party at so and so's house. Do
And
you
it
want
just
to come?"
keeps
And you come.
growing and expanding, and that golden thread, just follow that golden thread,
Just
right?
follow that golden thread.
Taking you
So
somewhere.
exactly, and something says, "Oh, you know what? I always wanted to learn how to play the piano. I always wanted to sing, so now I joined a choir. Oh, crystal singing bowl. Gee, let me go look at Ashana's music." Oh, I wanted to do stuff like Wendy does. I think, oh, let me go here. So, and it's just
Let
like,
me listen to the podcast.
let me listen to the podcast. And all of a sudden you're doing these like little things that you never did
Yes.
before. And
Yes.
there's a part of your brain that's like going, wait a minute, you're supposed to be miserable. And you're going, but I'm having so much fun.
Really, joy is the way out. It's the ticket out. It's when we're doing, and it can be
It
the
really is
smallest thing. It doesn't
the
have to be this
smallest thing.
big. People feel like, oh, I have to have this big purpose, and I need. No,
Don't.
you just need to find happiness in everyday moments in your life, even if they're just brief and you don't have time. Just find 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Write a little something, think about
Yeah.
something, sing a song, do what feels uplifting, right? It
Mhm.
daily over time.
Yes,
It
it
has
is.
a huge impact.
Well, the reason I love that you said that daily over time,
Yeah.
because this is really the thing. We live in a society right now that is instant gratification and
Mhm.
structured around regular, intense dopamine hits through social media, addictive social media scrolling. We do. We live like that. It's gotta be TV,
Yes.
in 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 infotainment.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
we're stuck around. And so it's actually, oh, we all need a collective 12-step program for social media and scrolling. I really think so.
Yeah, I
It'd be
agree.
amazing if we
I
did,
agree.
because we got that stuff is wrecking our nervous systems. So, and I'm not saying that social media is bad, believe you me, I use it. There's places where I get to make connections on it that are absolutely glorious and I love. But there is an insidious aspect to it uh, aspect to it that we must be aware of. And so it's developing those clear, clean, healthy boundaries with that. So you give your nervous system and your mind time to rest, relax, reset, and restore. And inside that space, your whole physiognomy of your nervous system stuck in, which has gotten addicted to fight or flight. It now that starts to go,
You calm that adrenal system down,
you calm it down.
calm the mind down,
Mhm.
and It's a different state of being, and from that different state of being, your expression of who you are and how you walk through the world changes, right? You're
Yeah.
no longer chasing, you're being and attracting, you're creating, you're manifesting. It's a different state of being, but it does require choices and intention
Yes.
to incorporate these things in.
Well, they didn't say it was gonna be easy. No
I hear
one
that
said it
from my
was
soul a
easy.
lot.
Yeah. You know,
I hear that a lot.
it but
Oh,
I think something that really is so significant, when we talk about this journey of self-awareness,
mhm,
right? Which is really what we're talking about is
mhm,
becoming more aware
mhm,
as a being in a body, in
mhm.
embodiment. And so that really is the beginning of the awakening process, is just this becoming self-aware and self in all its aspects, right? Maybe not all the aspects, but just to wake up that it's not such a narcissistic, inward driven to your own personality
Yeah.
experience. And what I really want to invite people and share people to do, if you're listening here, is reach out and ask for support, right? Find those mentors, guides, way showers, teachers who are walking a path that for you is you gain a sense of, wow, I I would love to be have that kind of a life experience. And learn from them. Some of your experiences are gonna suck with these with your teachers and your mentors, they just are.
There's a
Uh,
gift in all of it,
but
though.
exactly. It's this incredible gift. If you can stay with it, there's incredible gifts
Mhm.
that you receive from everybody, and then you start realizing that everybody and everything is your mirror. Everybody and everything is your great, great soul teacher. And then it becomes extraordinary. I can remember, like, the first time the penny dropped for me. And I realized, this is back in the '90s, I realized that I was my mother.
That's a big one,
It was huge.
and that's a huge
It
revelation.
was huge. And it wasn't like, "Oh, I look like my mother," or
Mhm.
my personality is like I inherited things. No, it was a full on, I was looking at my mother and I was seeing myself. So there was this whole fullness of,
Mm.
this is me. And I literally, I think I was in a bedroom, and I was on the phone with one of my mentors, and she'd been trying to get me to see this, What is this? Tattvamasi in the Sanskrit mantra, I am that I am, right? I am that I am. And she was really, really trying hard. She'd been trying hard for years to get me to see
But then
this.
you got there.
Well, yeah, I was like,
There.
"Ugh, it's not me. She's a blah, 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 blah,"
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I remember the penny dropping and my whole body just like going,
The light
and
went on.
the lights went on, and I was like,
Oh, boy.
"OMG."
Oh.
And then you get to this place where, like, the entire world is a reflection of who you are, and you're just going,
Yeah, it just exponentially ripples out,
"Yeah,
right?
exactly."
Yeah,
So who do I want to be? Then
right.
becomes that question, how do I want to be? Who do I want to be? what expression do I want to bring to this day, to this moment,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And that oh my gosh, this is practice. This is just like, chop wood, carry water. I mean, it's
Yes,
like
I've been saying that a lot, for years. That has always been my go-to. When I'm in a very challenging time, I let go of everything and I chop wood and carry water.
chop wood, carry
I
water.
just stay in the moment and I
Mhm.
do the foundational things that
Yeah.
keep me going. Let's put that down and let's just be present and really observe this. What is this emotion is triggering? How am I reacting? Why is this happening? All the
Yeah.
questions,
All those
curiosity
questions. Mhm.
lead us
Mhm.
back to ourselves and only with awareness can we heal it. Curiosity
The
is
awareness.
important.
And see, like, this whole thing about awareness, when you're
Mhm.
not when this is a relatively new thing, awareness for many of us, awareness is like a literally waking up out of a deep, deep sleep, and you go,
Mhm.
"What is it to even be aware? What does that even mean? What does it feel like in my body?" And how do I become aware? And so these are like the tiny, tiny little baby steps and realizing, nobody ever taught us how to do this. We didn't learn this as kids. We know how to write, we know how to ride a bike, we know how to walk, we can eat, we
Mhm.
can speak, we can communicate, all those things. But no one, really few of us, were taught to become aware,
To feel,
to
our
feel.
society encourages us to armor up and protect and separate,
Yes.
right? We're
Yeah.
moving into a paradigm where it's to melt the armor,
Yes. Melt the
to
armor.
love fully, to interact heart to heart,
Well, I think
unpack
people
it.
people will, it's an interesting thing, when you start responding to people and they say, "How are you?" And you pause for a moment, and then you tell them how you really are.
Yeah.
There's like this,
I really didn't mean that. I
"I
really
didn't
wanted
really
you to
didn't mean
say,
that."
"I'm fine," and move on with the
Yeah,
conversation.
I was just trying to be polite and get you out of the way so I can get on to my
And
next
now
thing.
you're telling me, oh, the truth about your and some people don't have the capacity to hold it, right? Well, I think it's important when you're struggling to know that there are people who love you who don't have the capacity to
Yeah,
show up, and it's not because they don't love you, it's just they don't know how. They don't have the tools to show up in a way that would help you, but they're sending love to you maybe from the heart, not calling or texting, and it feels like ghosting, but maybe it's just a lack of capacity, you know?
that's where for me, that's where the music
Yeah.
can reach far and wide
Mhm.
and touch where, I don't personally have to be engaged one-on-one with everybody that comes into, our world. There's so much beautiful music and healing sound and poetry and writing, and we can open up and receive that, and see them as gifts,
Yes.
that I know that, for those people that are listening that are, struggling with sleep or struggling with, um, grieving process,
Mhm.
forgiveness, wanting to know what does it feel like to open the heart. There's so much of the music that I've created is for you.
Oh,
It's
so
there for
beautiful.
you. It's just there. You
Mhm.
can You can go on any streaming platform and listen to your heart's content
If
and
they
find.
type in Ashana, your music will come up, right?
It basically will, but
So
Spotify, Apple
I
Tunes,
love
Amazon
that. I love
Music, all of that. It's just there, and there's so much. I mean, there's just like it's a big catalog of music that can just take you places and let it,
mhm,
because that can be one of those things that we talked about earlier where you just wanna quiet the mind down and relax. This music will help you do that,
mhm,
and it will do it, relatively easily, gently,
mhm,
and you can train to it. To help that mind quiet down, that nervous system reset, and then there's a space that will, I promise you, there's a space that will open up to your soul's awakening. It's there for you inside those sounds. So just easy, easy peasy.
Well, thank you so much for your time today,
Uh,
for your beautiful wisdom, your light, your offerings to the world. I I deeply honor you for this beautiful journey you're on and how you're helping humanity connect, relax, you know, receive
mhm.
to support their journey. So
Yep.
thank you, Ashana, so
You're
much for
welcome.
being here with me today. It was such an honor to spend this time. I wish we had more time. Yeah, but
Well,
you have to get on with your life.
I have to get on with my day.
You too.
Yeah.
To my audience, thank you so much for joining us today. I love you all. Be kind to yourselves. Love yourselves. If this conversation resonated, please subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.